Hey, y'all, listen, happy Monday. Welcome into the building. The Divas in the building. I'm here. I'm happy to be here, and I hope y'all doing well. And thanks for coming and hanging out with me tonight on Monday night. Listen, the train is pulling out the building. Just do the Diva a favor. Purchase your ticket. Don't jump the turnstile. Don't come through the building for free. All you got to do is hit the like button, and you have purchased your ticket on the Diva train. So listen, tonight's title is called So Sad. So Sad. We're going to talk about it. It's called So Sad. We got Jay-Z. Let me tell you something. There's some people in this world, they not to be played with. They not for play. Jay-Z said he got 99 problems, but he got a song. But I'll tell you what, a lawyer ain't one. He don't give a darn who you are. You could be a lawyer. If you mess with Jay-Z, he's coming back for you. Jay-Z got his foot on Tony Buzbee's neck. Got his foot on his neck. Yes, he does. Tony Buzbee is being sued by Jay-Z out there in California. And now Jay-Z out in Alabama is suing Jane Doe. And another lawyer named David Fortney. And he's suing those two because he said Jane Doe admitted that Tony Buzbee forced her to continue on with this fictitious story after the demand letter got them nowhere. Then he said this lawyer, David, went down to Alabama and lied to Jane Doe and told Jane Doe that Jay-Z was threatening her, so she needed to drop the lawsuit. And then they wanted her to make a statement talking about, I'm dropping the lawsuit because I'm being threatened. But with everything that I said is true. Imagine Jane Doe being sued for $20 million. I would pass out, but see, I would never be the one telling no fictitious stories or stories where I can't remember half of the story. And I'm not victim shaming, but let me tell you this. There's a lot of things that is true, but because you don't got enough evidence, you got to take a hit on it. But regardless, this Jane Doe done got herself up a creek. Tony Buzbee is up a creek. Imagine a lawyer and you being sued. But the people want to beat me upside the head talking about Tony the GOAT. Alex Sparrow is not getting sued. That's the GOAT. What GOAT gets sued? But we're going to talk about it. Now Jane Doe was in a bigger mess because she had two lawyers that was willing to play around with her life. So we're going to talk about it. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this story. They're up a creek without a paddle. Come on to that. Now, I don't know if y'all remember this story. It's very sad. It happened in the Bronx. It happened in New York, where a couple had their child at the daycare. The daycare was a front for a drug house. And the kids, it was like 3 kids, I think, that OD'd on fentanyl. And instead of the daycare owner's wife calling the cops, calling the EMT, she called her husband. and said, yo, the kids OD'd. You need to come in. I'm paraphrasing. You need to come get this stuff out of here before I call the cops. And meantime, while she was waiting, the kids was dying. Husband came there, got the stuff out. One of the kids didn't make it. Well, guess what? The husband got 45 years, and so did she. But unfortunately, the young life that is gone cannot come back. And she had Narcan in the daycare so she could have saved the kid's life. But instead of giving them Narcan, she was calling her husband. When the EMTs got there, instead of telling them the truth about what was happening with the kids, she acted like she didn't know. Now, kid is gone. So sad. We're going to talk about it. And you know what? I don't know what to say to some of these wives. I really don't. But when you find out, well, you know what? Let me take that back. I know what to say. When you find out that your man is for the streets, I say it over here all the time. When you find out that your man is for the streets, release him back to the streets. And I don't care if you got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 kids by him. Release him back to the streets. Because if you don't, it's going to bring you nothing but trouble. This why she knew her husband was a cheater. So she's in the car with her kids. She drives up to the husband's work van. She knocks on the window, and he's in there getting it in with the mistress. The side chick, the side piece. She knocks on the van door, open the van door. His pants are down, and she filming. She's telling him she's going to put it all over Facebook. And the kids is in the car. I'm not chasing after no man. I'm not talking to his side piece. I'm not filming him. I'm going to release his nasty, wicked behind back to the streets, and I'm going to figure out how to take care of the kids that we made together. And yes, he's going to pay his part. But if you want to be a cheater, pumpkin eater, then you go out and you do what you do, because everybody will reap what they sow. But what I am going to do is release you back to the streets, and I'm not going to be dragging my kids around to see you with the side piece. I pass. Come on, Too Good to Leave You Now. Facebook, not the attorney. She was emotional. And she let her emotions and her feelings get the best of her. That's when you need some good girlfriends. Disgusting. Terrible. The kids were young. Kids in the car. I don't know how old the kids were, but I know they're young. Kids in the car. His pants is down, and you filming. And the mistress got the nerve to be hiding her face. No, show your face, huh? Be loud and proud about this. Cheese, you're on camera. You dirty, nasty, filthy, both of y'all. But listen, the title tonight is so sad. Y'all know what I need in the chat. I need a what? I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Monday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. Yes, the title is called So Sad. Jay-Z fighting back. The daycare owners get 45 years, and a wife scorned. Let me bring the people in the building. Hey, Felicia.
Hey, Diva, seems like it's me and you, but it's okay.
It's okay, honey. It's ladies' night, and we're going to take this thing out and do what we do. We got this, okay? We got this. Listen, let's do this Jay-Z story first, because this is very interesting to me. And you know what's interesting? It's interesting that it's me and you, because we have talked about the Diddy case, this Jay-Z case, and this whole situation a lot behind the scenes. And we had dissected a lot of these Diddy cases. And, you know, I had said the minute Jay-Z was added to one of these Diddy cases, I said, this is going to be a rough go for Tony Buzbee, because once it is determined that he looks like a liar based upon his case against Jay-Z, it is going to indirectly impact all of the cases he has against Diddy, right? Because if a lawyer can go this low for one case, that's his character, if you ask me. But let me go ahead and get right into this story so we could talk about this one. Share screen here. So Jay-Z sues XR accuser, lawyer Tony Buzbee, after allegedly losing $20 million due to lies and extortionate threats. So Jay-Z is suing his former R accuser and her lawyer Tony Buzbee in an Alabama court, claiming they conspired to falsely accuse him of SA and allegedly caused him to lose at least $20 million. The hip hop icon claims the defendants, which also includes lawyer David Fortney, was soullessly motivated by greed and abject disregard of the truth and the most fundamental precepts of human decency, according to a complaint, page 6, obtained. Jay-Z, who is suing for malicious prosecution, abuse of process, civil conspiracy, and defamation, alleges in court documents that the XR accuser, Jane Doe, has voluntarily admitted that Buzbee pushed her towards going forward with the false story against Mr. Carter after an extortionate demand letter failed to yield the financial windfall. Buzbee brought Jay-Z into it, Doe allegedly admitted, according to the court filing. Doe sat down with the NBC News in December 2024 and alleged in an on-camera interview in which her identity was concealed that the Can I Get a rapper argued her at an MTV Video Music Awards after party in New York in 2000. She claimed she was just 13 at the time. Doe alleged Sean Diddy Combs assaulted her as well. The battle rapper denied those claims. However, Jay-Z's complaint now claims that Buzbee allegedly met Doe for the first time at a coffee shop in Houston on the day of her maliciously false NBC News interview. Since the allegations became public, the Empire State of Mind rapper, whose real name is Sean Carter, has vehemently denied the claims, saying he was a victim of a blackmail attempt. I have no idea how you come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over, he said in a statement in December 2024. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. Doe has publicly admitted to inconsistencies in her NBC News lawsuit, including that she met Benji Madden and at the alleged after party. A spokesman for the Good Charlotte Rocker has said that both he and his twin brother, Joel Madden, were on tour halfway across the country at the time of the alleged incident. She had also claimed in a sit-down that her father picked her up from the after party, but he told NBC News he didn't recall the long drive, which would have been over 5 hours, saying that was something that he would definitely stick out in his mind. Doe suffered from mental health issues, according to public records cited in the complaint, which Jay-Z argued should have cast doubt on her credibility. The following claims that following Doe's admissions, her lawyers continued to seek to hide this reality, including through further extortionate threats and demands. Another rollback in Doe's case was that Buzbee had filed her lawsuit in New York without being admitted to the bar of the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York, SDNY, as was required. However, his request for SDNY admission was denied on February 13th because, according to the SDNY order, he had already filed pleadings in the Southern District of New York without being admitted to the bar of that court. Buzbee can still seek pro hoc vice admission, however, within the Southern District. The Run This Town rapper's new complaint seemingly suggests that on the same day, Fortney allegedly went to Alabama on behalf of Buzbee to persuade Doe into dismissing her lawsuit against Jay-Z, 55. During that meeting, Fortney forcibly, maliciously, and manipulatively told Doe that the case against Mr. Carter needed to be dismissed as Mr. Carter has made threats against Doe's life and it was too dangerous to continue with the case, the complaint alleges. Of course, no such threats had ever been made. Doe, whom a New York judge ruled could remain anonymous, did end up dropping her R lawsuit on February the 14th, which Jay-Z called a victory at the time. The Hard Knock Life rapper has filed a separate lawsuit against Buzbee in Los Angeles. Reps for Jay-Z did not immediately return page 6 request for a comment on that filing. However, a source explains to us exclusively that the LA lawsuit will continue in tandem with the Alabama case, as Jay-Z is suing Buzbee for defamation in California case and not in the Alabama. Only Doe is being sued for defamation in Alabama. He is not playing. Jay-Z's lawyers allege in the newest complaint that Buzbee and his team have allegedly continued to threaten the forever young rapper, stating that Texas-based lawyer would allegedly issue a public statement that Doe, one, was being harassed by Mr. Carter's people since she dropped the lawsuit, and two, dropped the lawsuit only because she was afraid for her life, and the allegations against Mr. Carter in the dropped lawsuit were all true. Page 6 reached out to Buzbee, Fortney, and Doe via their attorneys for a comment, but did not immediately hear back. Jay-Z further alleges in his complaint that this ongoing legal battle has proven very costly for him. He claims the false allegations has caused him harm to his reputation in his businesses, including Roc Nation, with substantial losses in excess of $20 million. Out-of-pocket loss and emotional harm, humiliation, and harassment. Rest for Jay-Z declined to comment on the latest filings. Ooh, Felicia, your thoughts?
Oh my! Good evening, everyone. There was so much in there, and so I'm a little off with the timing. So, the first time Tony ever met with Jane Doe in Houston was right before she did the NBC interview, correct? So that NBC interview came out sometime in December, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And then thereafter, they went to her and said, this David, he says, oh, you're getting threats and you need to drop this case.
You got it. You following along.
Okay, great. All right. So as I think back, I'm thinking around the holidays and how things got revved up on this case. And Tony Buzbee wasn't backing down. He kept saying we was going to see. He kept saying, yeah, my client, can you believe it? She's willing to take a polygraph. So he kept pushing the envelope. And so now I do believe that Jane Doe does have some disability. I do believe she's had a head injury. I do believe that she picked up her phone and she dialed that 800 number to see if she could get a couple of dollars, if somebody would hear her story, get some attention or something like that. And I do believe that she became terrified after she did that interview. I believe I had shared with you in the past that I thought she did that interview because she needed some money for her kids for Christmas, because she did it right before the Christmas holiday. I understand the needs of a parent. She's living in the home there with her father, and she probably was thinking that this was a way to get a few dollars. She didn't know this thing was going to go international and that her story would be picked apart in the most brilliant way by Alex Spiro. So she probably watched that PowerPoint presentation like we did and realized, oh boy, I'm in great trouble. But instead of them saying, listen, We really didn't vet you. And I'm speaking all facts. This is what Tony said. They got her from another firm and they took on her case and they didn't really vet her the way they should have and blah, blah, blah. But instead of them saying that, they still want to go after the character of Sean Carter. They tell her that he's threatening her. And because of these alleged threats, that she needed to drop this case.
Oh my gosh.
You know, I do have empathy for her, but I really have a strong sense that what's happening here is that all of these frauds, I'm not saying everybody is, but allegedly 3,000 people called, okay? Because I'm giving the facts on what we read, what we heard, what we know. So allegedly, according to Tony Buzbee, there was over 3,000 calls. And all these people took all these calls, or nobody took the calls, and they got it down to 120 alleged victims, 60 female and 60 male. And within that group, there were supposed to be about 25 minors.
Talk, Felicia, talk. Come on now.
So here we are, March 3rd, and this was in October. So November. Okay, so 4.5 months later, we have no minors. And the one Jane Doe that got really pushed out front has said that her own attorneys have lied to her, misled her, and have threatened her. You know, I sense that Jane has no money. And I know Mr. Carter knows she has no money. So I'm going to say he's going after her, because going after her means he's going to get Tony real good. He is going to finish this drunken STD given, beat down women in the street attorney a retirement party. That's what's going to happen here. I don't think that he will hold accountable to any monies if that's what comes about from a suit with her, but he's going to get her on the stand so she can admit under oath that she lied, she was encouraged to lie, and that at no point did she meet him, Mr. Combs, some other famous woman, that she never went to any of these things. So I think you're absolutely correct, Diva. This takes the 120 cases and brings them down to 0.
Oh my goodness. This is nasty. This is not good for Tony Buzbee. I don't care which way you look at this. And he sent that lawyer down. Must be maybe David is his friend. He sent that David down there to Alabama, go speak to her, tell her to drop this case and drop this case now. But remember, he said his client's willing to do a lie detector test.
I do.
You went from that to going down there and telling her to drop the case, and then you're going to give her lies? You being threatened?
You know what those were, though, Diva? That was fear. So if they were doing the threatening, they were making her uncomfortable, she would think it was the Carter team.
That's what they made her think, right? Because they said you got to drop this because Jay-Z.
Exactly. Not that we messed up.
Right.
And you don't have a case, because when she did the NBC interview, she said, well, that's how I remember things. Remember? So yeah, this here is to end what they call him, Tony, the goat. Yeah, the goat Buzbee. They're going to finish his entire career. And he has to pay all of those clients of his whose money he stole. He has to make reparations to the woman whose teeth he knocked out and he gave the that STD infection to. Okay. And he pays alimony and stuff to the first wife. And I wouldn't be surprised if the second marriage has already been in trouble. He went to reform himself. He went to some kind of AA program because he was doing all this drinking. And let's not forget that legally he's in trouble here in the Southern District of New York with all his cases.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so with it, what's funny is it's funny how the press spins stories depending upon who it is. When it's a Diddy story, they make sure they're loud and proud and they're clear, and you know they paint him as a monster, but they're not doing the underbelly of it all and saying how if he was never properly legally able to file a case in the Southern District of New York, they're not saying how these alleged 120 cases against Diddy need to go in the trash also.
Yeah. And let's walk it back again.
Mm-hmm.
So Damian Williams left in the middle of the month of December. So that was the original prosecutor on this case. Okay, he was the one that originally brought the charges against Sean Combs. Okay, and then there was the thing that happened with the unlawful search at the MDC, and he was called out, and then he resigned. And then they had the new prosecutor come in, and that prosecutor was the one with this whole Eric Adams, Donald Trump thing. And 2 weeks ago, her name is Danielle Sasson. So she says, I'm out. I can't do this. And along with her leaves 4 other prosecutors. So the office itself is depleted.
It depleted and in shambles.
Yeah.
In shambles.
And Tony is not pro hoc vici to do any legal business in that. So who wants to take the place of this corrupt, broke down, alcoholic attorney? Who want to do that? Who wants to do that?
Nobody.
Okay, so what happens to
who's going to add Procom in now? Nobody. Nobody wants to mess with that. And then you got Jay-Z on your neck. Nobody's going to touch him with a 10-foot pole.
Because nobody else wants Quinn Emanuel on their neck either.
Well, I wouldn't either. No.
I wouldn't either. But congratulations to Sean Carter and Mrs. Carter and the family, because honor is important, integrity is important, dignity is important. Those are the things I value, and clearly they value it. So you came after them, you came after the family. Remember, Sean said he felt like he had a gun to his head the night of his daughter's premiere. Okay, so this is why he won't let up. Okay. So congratulations to them. Sorry to Jane Doe girl, but you know you ain't got no money, so I wouldn't really worry about it.
She collateral damage, but you know what? She's stressed out right now. Julius, your thoughts?
You called her collateral.
She collateral damage. You know.
I agree with all.
Wait, give me 1 second, Julius. Now, do you remember that Thalia, who we called a lie over here the minute she did her press conference? Remember, she said in Big Joe, the security guard's DM, we just want to get Diddy. So if you help me get Diddy, we won't name you. So everybody is telling a whole bunch of lies because they want a money grab. And now Big Joe, the security guard, wrote a whole book on the story. Julius, your thoughts?
I agree with everything Miss Felicia just said, and there's nothing more to add.
I appreciate you. Leo, you in the building? Any thoughts?
No, not really. I just came to say, hey, y'all.
Hey.
That's pretty much it. But other to add on to it, it was Jay-Z has really made an example out of Tony Buzbee. I cannot get out. He is breaking that man neck, y'all. He is breaking him down. He breaking that man all the way down. His legacy is destroyed. His business gonna be destroyed. I mean, he gonna put all this dirt on, because all that stuff Alicia was saying about Buzbee, I don't hear about any of that. All his business getting ready to get run through the streets. Oh my God, Jay-Z has really broken this man all the way down for bothering him and his. Really, he set an example.
He set an example, and plus, you know what? That I heard it was more than one demand letter, and then and then allegedly there was a time clock on one of the letters that trying to let Jay-Z know the time is running out, and Jay-Z said, "Oh heck no, heck no." So go ahead, Felicia. What was you gonna say?
Yeah, I just want to say in closing, for those who didn't know, Mr. and Mrs. Carter had a party after yesterday's Oscars, and everybody who was anybody in the music industry, the film industry, they went. They were there. So for the folks who are very much into their feelings and they feel like, yeah, well, he did something, he may not have done this, or I know he did it. I encourage you to reach out and get yourself a lawyer, because if you feel that way and something has been done to you, then you should be able to seek some kind of damage and some kind of justice. But if not, keep watching this case, because this is one of these cases that's going to go down the law books. These law students are going to be studying this case. Because it's completely reversed. It's a 180 on Tony Buzbee. He's so done. He's so done.
And he was so loud and proud with his 1-800 number. But where you at now, Buzbee? Where you be? Buzz on over and talk to us. Why you not loud and proud about this case? But we're going to go ahead and roll into the next story, which is pretty sad. It was the daycare last year in the Bronx that was a drug front house. They actually used a daycare. This couple was despicable. Let me just get into it. But you know what? She got 45 years, and so did the husband. Okay.
A former daycare owner in the Bronx sentenced to 45 years in prison after pleading guilty to several drug charges.
That's right. The charges stem from the death of a 1-year-old who was exposed to fentanyl at the daycare. Fox 5's Arthur Chian is live outside federal court in Lower Manhattan, where her sentence was handed down. Arthur.
Steve, Natasha, the woman's name is Gray Mendez. She was the woman who basically was the head of that Bronx daycare where all of this unfolded. She was just sentenced to 45 years in prison, as you said. Now, this is a case that horrified New Yorkers who learned of it as it unfolded. And in fact, it horrified anybody who heard about what happened at that daycare in the Bronx. Now, immediately following the sentencing, the parents of the 1-year-old boy who was killed spoke. Their heartbreak appeared to be as raw as when this all came to light 2 years ago. Their son, just 22 years old, Nicholas Dominici, died after he and 3 others were exposed to fentanyl. This according to court papers, which said the daycare that was entrusted with protecting them, the Vino Nino, actually was functioning as a secret stash house where fentanyl and heroin was prepared for distribution on a regular basis. Investigators even found a kilo-sized brick of fentanyl inside a closet of the daycare facility, in addition to other equipment used for drug smuggling. Gray Mendez was accused of calling her husband multiple times, allegedly to clear the drugs, while waiting before calling 911, even as the 4 very young children were severely overdosing. And by the time help arrived, it was too late for Nicholas. Right after this sentencing, Nicholas's parents spoke in an emotional press conference, drawing a painful distinction between receiving justice in a court of law and receiving justice in life. To make sure we get it right, our own Stephanie Bertini translates for us.
Nicholas is not going to come back ever. In one way, there was justice, and now I want divine justice. I'm waiting for her to pay. I wish Nicholas was coming back, but he's not.
Separately, Mendez's husband has already been sentenced also to 45 years in federal prison in connection with this case. One would hope that this allows Nicholas's family to start a new chapter, but hearing the pain in their voices today, it's hard to imagine that starting anytime soon. We're live at the federal courthouse in Lower Manhattan. Arthur Chian, Fox 5 News. Steve, Natasha.
Yeah, so terrible. All right. Thanks, Arthur.
So incredibly sad. Just hold on one second. So devastated mom rails against trembling owner of NYC daycare, where son 1 died of fentanyl OD. As feds reveal, she was never administered Narcan. Do not forgive you. That's what the mom said about the defendant. The devastated mother of a 1-year-old baby who died from fentanyl exposure at a Bronx daycare said Monday she'll never forgive the owner who didn't use the anti-overdose medication as the boy lay dying. Divino Nino daycare owner Greer Mendez trembled in a Manhattan court as she was confronted by Zola Dominici. Let me just pause this. Who said Menendez deserved no mercy before she was sentenced to 45 years in prison for the tragedy. It's not possible to forgive something like this. Dominico told Mendez, 37, of the September 2023 death of little Nicholas Felice Dominici at the daycare, which was stocked of life-saving Narcan. 45 years is not enough, Dominici said. She stood at the lectern inside the courtroom and stared at Mendez, who sat facing straight ahead at the defense table, avoiding eye contact with the heartbroken mom. I do not forgive you, Dominici wailed to Mendez, who appeared overcome with emotion, her arms and hands noticeably shaking throughout the hour-long hearing. Let God forgive you. That's the mom and dad right there. That's the woman who is sentenced to 45 years. Nicholas had ingested fentanyl that Mendez and her husband had admitted to secretly store underneath the floor tiles where the children rested and played. 3 other kids, all younger than 3 years old, were hospitalized after being poisoned, as well, authorities say. Mendez didn't try to revive the children using Narcan, despite having a kit in the facility's daycare cabinet, the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York revealed in a pre-sentencing court filing. She had the key to help these children, and she didn't use it, federal prosecutor Maggie said in court Monday. When first responders arrived, Mendez didn't tell them that the kids might be suffering from an opioid overdose, as little Nicholas lied lifeless on the ground with blue lips and no pulse, court papers show. Mendez pleaded guilty to all counts she faced, including conspiracy to distribute narcotics, resulting in death in October on the eve of her trial. Prosecutors had asked Judge Jed to sentence Mendez to at least 45 years. Her admitted drug mill boss husband, Felix Herrera Garcia, received in October. But the Fed said Mendez deserved life in prison as the person most responsible for the toddler's death. Mendez lied repeatedly to federal agents after her arrest, claiming to know nothing about the 11 kilograms of narcotics hidden underneath the children, despite evidence emerging later that she had packed drugs at the same facility, court papers show. She even brazenly claimed to investigators that she would not be stupid enough to store narcotics near the children's playroom, despite knowing that she had done just that, the paper said. At one point, she suggested that the kids had suffered from a gas leak or carbon monoxide poisoning. Do you think I don't know the danger there? She told a federal agent, court papers show. I know how dangerous that is, she added. I'm not stupid. I watch the news. I know this stuff kills. At Monday's sentencing, Dominici burst into tears in the courtroom gallery as prosecutors recounted her son's final moments. Her husband, Phyllis, then put his arm around her to comfort her. When asked to address the court himself, Phyllis said of Mendez, she only let my son die. She didn't do anything. We didn't just lose Nicholas. We lost our life, Felice added. Mendez, speaking softly and using a Spanish interpreter, told the court that it was never my intention for the children to be poisoned. I do want all to know it was an accident, she said, claiming to know the suffering that Nicholas' parents are feeling as a mother herself who has been locked up and away from 4 children of her own. Believe me, this had left me traumatized, Mendez said. I cannot erase it from my mind. The judge said that he was giving Mendez the same sentence that her husband received because they both share roughly the same amount of culpability for the tragic episode. But he noted, addressing Mendez, that she for perhaps understandable but not defensible reasons, chose to prioritize her own fear of facing prosecution above the opportunity to save a life. When the sentencing was announced, Mendez's head sunk into the table, into her arms folded in front of the table. Loud sobs could be heard in the courtroom from both Mendez relatives and from Dominici. It's sad. It's even sadder that she had the ability to save these kids and she didn't. More additional information to the story is while the kids were dying, she was calling her husband to come and get the drugs out of the daycare. It's just horrific. Felicia, your thoughts?
Yeah, Diva. That's one of the stories from your old hometown up there in the Bronx.
Yeah.
That story was pretty prominent here for 3 days, 4 days on the news. For me personally, I don't think 45 years was enough. I think she should have gotten life.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the death penalty, so let me be clear about that. But I do believe in life in prison. And in this case, I certainly believe that that's what she should have gotten. It's very interesting that one of the quotes she wrote was that she was saying that she understood because she has 4 children of her own.
Mm.
Well, I'm glad they don't have to be raised by her because they had all of that dope up underneath those plyboards in the house and the children laying here on a blanket and here on a little pallet. So if not this little Dominici, who is so handsome, so beautiful, so loved, you can see it in the photo, it would have happened to other children. It was inevitable that this was going to come to that. I think of all of the families who have to work, who have to trust somebody, and they trusted her. So she's off the street. She's in a jail somewhere. There is no grace here. I believe all children, whether they're mine or not, biologically, are to be loved and protected. And these children are no different. She was wanting to protect her husband and their income over the lives of these children. So she has 45 years to think about what she's done. And maybe, I don't know, can she visit her husband who's doing another 45? And if they have an incident in jail, hopefully they'll get another 40 tacked on. I would hate to see those people come out. I'm done.
Yeah. Leo, your thoughts?
It's too sad for words, Diva. It's the most. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't have anything, Diva.
Yeah, I understand. Trust me, I understand. Julius, your thoughts?
These people are ridiculous. My heart breaks for these families. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Yeah, and yeah, life in prison. Yeah, and then she got the nerve. She's been in jail, so she's away from her 4 kids. Girl, a kid is gone, and it could have been all 3 of them. Because you even refused to tell the EMTs when they got there what these kids were suffering from, which they could have saved them sooner. Piece of trash. And she called her husband because there's another video where they actually show her husband leaving out the back door with bags of the drugs. And if I'm not mistaken, you could talk, Felicia, her husband had fled the country for a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, I do so many stories, I might be mixing the two, but I think her husband fled and they was looking for him for a while. Go ahead, Felicia.
Yeah, that's true. But I also wanted to add, because someone in the chat, they're absolutely correct, that fentanyl is so powerful. So even when you have first responders coming in and you're not telling them the situation, these adults too are at risk. Everyone is at risk in this space because you have this chemical drug in the environment. So a whole lot of people could have lost their lives.
Yeah.
And it's so unfortunate that Dominic did, but she didn't care. And she didn't care about her children either. She was more concerned about the husband who is now locked up. So he could go be with the men, she could be with the women, and they can go finish their lives in jail.
I appreciate that. You are correct. Yeah, they risk everybody's lives. Because you thinking I'm just picking up this kid. And meantime, now this nasty, filthy, disgusting drug is on you. And what if you just, happen to go, you know what I mean? Sometimes we mindlessly do things. You go wipe your face or whatever, wipe your eye.
Yes, Diva, and also do CPR.
Oh my God.
Remember, my son is a first responder.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Horrific. Horrific. Oh my God. All right, we're going to go ahead and roll into the last story. This is a woman scorned. I think she went too far, but I do understand how in the moment, you know, hindsight is everything, but sometimes in the moment, your emotions get to you. And I think her emotions got the best of her because she dragged the kids with her and she knew this man was cheating. So a viral video shows a moment a furious wife catches her half-naked husband having relations with his mistress in the back of his father's work van. This is the moment a furious wife catches her half-naked husband in the back of the father's work van with his mistress. The cheating pair were left gobsmacked when the man's partner of 17 years pulled up alongside the vehicle on a country road in Doncaster. Video footage recorded by the furious mother of four shows her confronting her husband through the window of the car, asking, "Are you effing her in the back of the van?" She then walks around to the rear of the van, pulling the doors open to find her husband naked from the waist down and his mistress huddled away in the corner trying to hide her face. As she opens the door, her husband shouts, "I will kill you," before repeating, "We're done, we're done," while the wife contains her sweary rampage shouting, "You're effing her in the back of the van." She continued yelling, show me what you effing got and enjoy it, because this is going all over effing Facebook. The wife continues to yell at her husband, who is said to have been cheating on her with the mistress for more than a year. It is all right, isn't it? Because the only person that is getting effing hurt is me and the kids, she added. Carry on if you want. A show, having an effing show. In a bid to calm tensions, her red-faced husband tells her, "You made your point. It's over." That's him, naked. That's the mistress hiding. The wife turns her attention to the other woman, calling her an effing lying S for promising to text her if her husband tried to contact her by phone or text. As the unfaithful pair try to explain their relationship is over, the mistress climbs into the front seats of the van to call the police unless she stops filming. Meanwhile, the husband keeps telling his wife to put the phone down. "You made your point. The kids are in the car. Can you just put the phone away, please?" To which the enraged wife replies, "Your kids are in that car. Our kids are in that car. And you need to get your effing pants on. Pull your pants up. Pull your pants up." As her husband continues to ask her to put the phone away, the wife asks, "Did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it in the back of an effing work van? Is this how much of an effing bag you are, that you are getting it in the back of an effing work van?" The wife then climbs back into a car where her children are waiting and shouts, "Ring the police. This is going all over effing Facebook." Oh, God. It's a mess. It's sad. Felicia, your thoughts?
Oh my. This is so unfortunate. It sounds like she was just in a rage. I don't think she was aware. I think she just was not herself.
Yeah.
And so she just was I don't know. And meanwhile, the father was supporting all of this, letting him use the van. It seems like he has maybe a problem. He has multiple people in the back of a van. You know, I'm going to take this to be a public announcement moment.
Okay, come on, talk. Let me sit up.
Because listen, if you value yourself, number one, you don't want to be with somebody else's husband.
Come on now, talk, Felicia.
You really don't.
Come on, talk.
First of all, you're interfering with an agreement. You're breaking up a family. and you're going to take on the garbage that this wife maybe didn't know, or she did know, or this husband did know or didn't know. It's just not worth it. It's not ethically worth it. It's not morally worth it. It's not financially worth it, because you're now on somebody's Facebook page being called out in this manner. Number two, if you're going to go and be the mistress or the adulterer or whatever, please get a hotel room. You can get one of them they call hot sheets, cheap sheets, $40 or something. Have them make an investment. It's just. And third, if you are the wife or the husband and you find that your spouse is out here hoeing in these streets and destroying their own family, pray up and get a good lawyer and put the trash out. I'm done.
Yeah. Leo, your thoughts?
Yeah, she need to put the trash out. This man got your blood pressure all the way up. You don't put your full business out here on Facebook because you mad. I mean, you blew a whole gasket. I would be sick to death that I'm laying up with this fool that's around here getting it in the back of a work van. Oh, girl. I know she, yikes. I just, yeah, she put all her business out there. So, yeah, girl, get rid of him. He is the 13.2 million and 0.5. And, yeah, it's time to get rid of him. And she took her kids out with her too, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder what the story was that made her have to. Does she have like find your phone or something like that on his phone? How did she know to go to where the work van was at? How did she know that?
She could have had a tracking system on him or the van.
Oh, yeah, that find your phone tracking thing that she may have had on his phone. Right. So that lets me already know that she done caught him before. This is something that's been going on. And she felt like next time I catch him, I'm going to have something for him. I'm going to film the whole thing. And it totally embarrass themselves. Everybody's embarrassed. But yeah, she need to get rid of him because she is causing her blood pressure to go up. You can't really have peace and raise your children in peace if you got to be running behind this fool.
Right. And she knew about the girl because she called the girl a lying piece of trash. Now, why would you expect somebody who's with your husband to call you the next time your husband calls her? Like,
that's
girl.
a mess. That's a mess. That whole thing is it's ridiculous on every level.
On every level. But you're right. She lost it. She got outside of herself. But 17 years, 4 kids. She's heartbroken and she didn't know how to deal with it. And it's very unfortunate. And indirectly, she was calling them both trash because the best y'all got is to be doing it in a van. And that van wasn't even no luxury van. It was truly a work van.
And yeah, did it have stuff in the back? Like, I thought I saw something with some wheels on it. Oh, girl, you treating your well,
gutter. She gutter.
That kind of people.
Gutter.
Yes.
Yeah, I wouldn't even allow no man to do that to me, married or not.
Trashy, girl. Good Lord have mercy, trashy. And everybody knows. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Everybody know.
Not everybody knows, girl.
Julius, your thoughts?
Well, listen, she knows her value because she wasn't, let's do the Marvin Gaye in the back of a work van. And that showed the value of the other woman. See, you settled for the work van while she's still in the house. And that's the thing. The wife is main chick mentality. And the only reason why the cheatee was keeping his composure was because she was recording. Now, if she wasn't recording, he would have been calling her all sorts of.
Probably
Hey,
would have. You caught
see,
that.
this is all your fault. You made me do this, yada yada yada. But because she had her power back in that moment, she recorded. Not only is he gonna be clowned through the streets, that chick is gonna be clowned through the streets too. But you know what? That's what you get.
Thank you, Julius. So let me give a small update. I do see here Tony Buzbee did come out and make a statement in regards to this latest lawsuit that Jay-Z has against him. So Tony Buzbee releases a statement after he and his client are sued by Jay-Z. This is just another attempt to intimidate and bully this poor woman that we will deal with in due course, he said. So this new case is the same claims as the other one they pieced together and filed in Los Angeles. Like the one in LA, this new case in Alabama also has no legal merit. This is according to Buzbee. Sean Carter's investigators have repeatedly harassed, threatened, and harangued this poor woman for weeks, trying to intimidate her and make her recant her story. She hasn't and won't, and says she has stated repeatedly she stands by her claims. These same group of investigators have been caught on tape offering to pay people to sue me and my firm. After speaking with Jane Doe today, it's clear to me that the quotes attributed to her in the lawsuit are completely made up. They spoke to someone who isn't Jane Doe. This is just another attempt to intimidate, bully this poor woman that we will deal with in due course. We won't be bullied or intimidated by frivolous cases. Tony Buzbee, the Buzbee law firm. But what's not frivolous, though, is that Jay-Z couldn't dismiss the case itself, and neither could Jane Doe. And Buzbee and his law firm signed off on the dismissal. So what is he talking about? I don't know, but this is crazy. Too good to leave me now. I said, let her do another interview. Good gosh almighty. I don't know. Any thoughts on this statement before I close out, Felicia?
Me, I don't have any. It was very confusing. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what he's talking about. And I don't think he knows either.
That part.
And we're still waiting for the results of the polygraph.
Hello. If you were so adamant that your client was telling the truth and that, you had evidence of this, of these threats, why would you drop the lawsuit? You got to make that make sense to me. I don't understand that. Any thoughts before I close out, Leo?
No, I'm good. Everything's been said. Buzbee going down. You can just see it. Those are desperate words from a desperate man.
Desperate. Julius, any final thoughts?
Man down. I ain't getting jiggy with it.
Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. It was a good night. Some great stories. Jay-Z is not one to be played with. He's suing Buzbee in California. He's suing Buzbee client and another lawyer in Alabama. Okay. So it's crazy. And I think Jay-Z, Jane Doe, unfortunately, she got bamboozled, led astray by lawyers. It's disgusting and it's sad. You got this daycare owner where her and her husband, 45 years, and I do agree with the panel, it should have been life. She's extra disgusting because she knew what was wrong with those kids. And when a moment where she could have had a little bit of redemption, she chose to try to save herself. And she chose it again when she was speaking to the prosecutors. I mean, to the cops and the investigators, and saying, "You think I would be stupid enough to have that around kids? I watch TV. I know how it kills." And then she got the nerve in court to talk about her 4 kids, your 4 kids that are still alive. And then we got the wife scorned. And Felicia gave some good advice. Why? And I know it takes 2. And I know the husband is the one that dedicated and said before God that he's going to do right by his wife. But my thing is, if a man comes to me and he's married and he's not single, I'm good. Deuces. Because if you doing this to your wife, you're going to do that or even worse to me. You're trash. You're trash in my eyes. And get a divorce. And I'm not your therapist. I don't want to hear about how your relationship is bad. You still live there, but y'all don't sleep in the same bed. How she did you dirty. No, I'm good. Send me a single man my way. I'll deal with him all day long before I deal with somebody else's guy. Listen, guys, I appreciate y'all being here. Y'all know the routine. If you did not hit that like button on the way in, hit it on the way out. And Tiffany Hayner, she's a if we could do the worst mans in the world, Tiffany's going to be on the list. Eric Adams is going to be on the list. I just can't. But anyway, guys, thanks for being here. See y'all next time. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Choo choo.